Today, we are diving into a massive global race. But it's not for gold or oil. Nope, it's for a special group of materials that pretty much power our entire modern world. Everything from our phones to our fighter jets. We're talking about rare earth elements. And believe me, control over these is fast becoming one of the biggest geopolitical issues of our time. So, let's get into it.
You know, we're all pretty familiar with strategic dependencies by now, right? For years, Europe basically sleepwalked into a massive reliance on Russian energy, and we all saw how painfully that vulnerability was exposed.
And hey, it's not just energy. Think about our digital lives. They are completely dominated by American tech. It's just another example of how these super concentrated supply chains can create huge risks for everyone else.
But what if I told you there's another dependency out there? One that underpins, well, everything from green technology to military power. And this one? This one might just be the toughest one of all to break free from.
Okay, so that brings us right to the heart of the matter. China's near-total monopoly on these materials we call rare earth elements.
So what exactly are these things? Well, they're a group of 17 metallic elements that are absolutely 100% indispensable for modern technology. You literally can't build an electric car, a giant wind turbine, or advanced military gear like a fighter jet without them. To put it simply, they are the building blocks of the 21st century.
And here's where you can really see the scale of China's dominance. It's not just about digging them out of the ground, where, by the way, they control 70% of the world's ores. No, the real chokehold is in the processing. China refines over 90% of all rare earths and makes 90% of the super powerful magnets made from them. They control the entire supply chain, from the mine all the way to the magnet.
And look, this control isn't just a theoretical problem. Beijing has already weaponized its supply, restricting exports to pressure countries like Japan. As one European official put it, this isn't some far-off what-if scenario. The risk is right here, right now, and is not one the West can afford to just ignore. So, you can bet this threat has kicked off a frantic global race for new supplies, and it's pitting two very different Western strategies against each other. First up, let's look at America's muscular sprint.
The U.S. is treating this like an all-out sprint. Their strategy is coming straight from the National Security Council, and it's muscular and super fast-paced. They are throwing money at projects at home and abroad, signing deals everywhere from Australia to Saudi Arabia. To an outsider, it might look a little chaotic, kind of like a see-what-sticks approach, but the goal is crystal clear: secure that supply chain and do it yesterday.
All right, so that's Team America. Now let's pivot and look at Europe's strategy, which, well, it really could not be more different.
If America is sprinting, Europe is settling in for a marathon. Their approach is deliberate, very rule-bound, and it's all focused on long-term market stability. They're carefully scraping together about 3 billion euros to invest across 34 different critical commodities. The goal, as one industry expert put it, is to fix a market failure without causing another one.
So when you put them side by side like this, the philosophical divide is just stark, isn't it? America is driven by national security, which leads to this fast, heavily funded, and sometimes chaotic approach. Europe, on the other hand, is driven by market principles, leading to a cautious, deliberate, and much more financially limited strategy. Two allies, two totally different playbooks.
So we've got a sprint versus a marathon. But here's the thing. Regardless of the strategy, both sides are facing the same urgent reality. They are in a race against time, and they are starting from way, way behind.
Let's just be really clear about this. The West is playing catch-up. While America and Europe are scrambling to build their supply chains now, other nations have been working on this exact problem for years.
Just take Japan, for example. When China cut off its rare earth exports back in 2010, Japan reacted immediately. The very next year, they launched a powerful minerals agency. The EU, by contrast, is only now projected to set up its version of that body in 2026. That gives Japan a 15-year head start. Europe is just now getting to the starting line.
And for Europe, you could argue the stakes are even higher. Projections show that by 2030, Europe's demand for these key materials could be 2, maybe even 3 times that of America's. Why? Its massive industrial base, especially in places like Germany, makes it uniquely vulnerable if that supply gets cut off.
And this brings us to a final, almost poetic piece of irony. One of these critical rare earth elements is actually named europium. You guessed it, after the continent of Europe. And what is its primary use? What does it do? Well, it's used to create the vibrant red colors in our screens and lights. Europium literally makes things glow bright red. like a warning light, an alarm signal.
So think about that. Europe has a rare earth named after it that's used to create alarm signals. The real question is, if China decides to pull the plug on supplies again, is the continent actually paying attention to its own warning?